Hey, what's up everybody? Before I get started here, man, just sorry ahead of time if it sounds like a freaking hurricane's outside ready to blow my house away. That's the ceiling fan blowing on this microphone. It's still my good Microsoft HD cam, but the mic on it's really super sensitive. So hopefully it won't drown out my voice too much. Anyways, read off the specs for this one here. This is one of the original year 2000 Imacs. It's 400 megahertz on the processor, and model is 5521. Operating system on this 9.1, PowerPC G3, 256 megabytes of RAM, and it has a 10 gig hard drive, which could be worse, because after getting online and printing out the specs for this model and all the other iMac models for that era, it could have been a lot worse. This lady, instead of getting the bare minimum, she just went the next step up. The processor bare minimum was 350, then it goes to 400, 450, and 500. On memory, minimum is 64 megabytes. Otherwise, it can handle up to a gigabyte of memory, which, the way this thing's going now at 256, a gig would probably make this thing really quick. I'm impressed with it. On the hard drive, like I say, it could still be worse, man. Started out 7 gigs, then 10, 20, and 30 at the max. Gotta remember, year 2000, man, they really didn't have that big of hard drive sizes and stuff back then. And on ports, the usual 2 USB off to the side for your keyboard and mouse, and then the keyboard itself has 2 USBs, but I've noticed that because the keyboard's already drawing power, if you plug something into it, like let's give you a hint of how I got stuff put on this thing game-wise. I've been using this little Kingston 1 gigabyte data traveler. It can handle this. If I try and put in my 4 gig one, it comes up saying it's drawing too much power through the USB. So recommend, if you can find one still, get a 1 gig. That's plenty. And then CD-ROM, and there's 2 headphone jacks up front. I think it's got another one off to the side. It does have it to where if this ever started having problems with the monitor, which right now it works beautifully, it's got the VGA port to the back of it, so I could hook up a separate monitor like a flat screen or whatever. Let's see, it's 2 FireWire ports. I don't even know if anybody still uses that anymore. I could care less. Airport ready, which a lot of these were. Like, you're gonna carry this fucking thing around at an airport, is it only looks small. When you pick this up, it grows. Thing's really packed full of guts, man. So that's pretty much it. And as you can see, it's the blue and silver, white, whatever color scheme. I think there was 5 different colors for the year 2001, because that was the special editions, and then it went down to, like, I think 2 or 3 colors for the later ones. Anyways, I'm just gonna hold on to this just to keep it in good shape, because I don't go for just regular old mice, but working laser mouse, the original one, and keyboard, other than having to clean it up, it works great. So gonna list the website here so you guys can check it out for anybody that finds one of these, or just outright has an older Apple computer and is having a hard time finding software. This is a great website. It's called Macintosh Garden, and this is my first Mac computer. I've never had an Apple computer. The only time I've ever gotten to play on one was a little tiny bit at my sister's, and the one she had was a dinosaur at the time, back in the 90s, and then got to play on one a little bit in high school. One of my classes had one just set up to mess around with or whatever. So it goes back way before this. Anyways, they seem to stop it right around year 2000 for any games or programs or whatever. And it's not just game site. It's like a regular abandon-ware type site to where they got stuff going way back on games, applications, all kinds, on operating systems. In fact, I just downloaded the updates. I'm going to try and get this updated to 9.2. Make it to where the dinosaur's halfway in the tar pit. Hopefully we'll make it a little bit better. I don't know. But I'll see if I can try it. Otherwise, what I've been doing is putting everything that I download on my regular computer onto this Kingston 1 gig drive here. And then on transferring it, pretty much game-wise, everything has been in compressed files. So I've been able to mostly decompress them directly on this, and then once I get it down to the folder that I need to actually play the game, then I move it to the Imac hard drive, and that's been working for me. And on games, that's where I'm impressed with this, man. I've got, let's see, on computers that I'm using right now, the one I'm on is my newest computer for my room, and then got my mom a new computer, which she's got Windows 8, which is a fucking abomination, not meant for this world and needs to be destroyed. This one's Windows 7. Neither of them, and I have tried DOSBox. These computers just don't like it for the 64-bit systems or whatever. But I can't play any of my old school stuff from the early 90s up to pretty much the late 90s. Mainly like Redneck Rampage. Speaking of DOSBox, I've got the 3-pack where you get the original Redneck Rampage, then Rides Again, and Suckin' Grits on Route 66. Rampage works, Suckin' Grits works. If I try Rides Again, which is the second one, it plays, but plays horribly. It is glitchy as hell. And is basically doing the same thing that the last computer that I had that handled that game started doing. To where, like when you see the gun out or whatever, the gun would start getting all choppy, like the graphics are off on movement. And then eventually, you couldn't shoot straight ahead. Even if you're pointing straight ahead, man. Your bullets would just go flying south and then get to the point to where you just can't shoot anything. You're just totally off. Now, speaking of this little booger, one of the games that you can download from this Macintosh garden is the original Redneck Rampage. Just doesn't have the music, but it's the CD version that's been cracked to play on the computer. Runs beautifully. I will give you guys a little demo of it running. This runs beautifully. And on that game, for anybody that's never played it, if you want music, it just played it off the CD, like a regular music CD. So just pop in any music CD. Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Britney Spears, whatever your sick mind needs for blowing away rednecks. Pop it in the computer, load up the game, do the 8-track player thing, and you'll have your own personal music playing. Just the only thing I noticed, and there's got to be a way to turn down just the music. I just haven't figured it out yet because new to the iMac and all this stuff and don't have the instructions, but it will kind of drown out the sound effects. And once I start playing it here, Matt, the sound effects, you want to hear them. The game is fucking hysterical. So before I keep talking like hell here and not showing, open up my hard drive. That's another thing. I can go into the hard drive folder here and open up the games. I don't know how you get the icons for the games onto the main screen here like a PC. Don't know. Don't really care. Just haven't figured that out yet. Anyways, all these that I put on work either beautifully or good enough. Got Abuse, which is a good side-scroller type shooter where you're a little alien robot dude or whatever. Good game. Let's see, another side-scroller that I think I've got it on Super Nintendo, Blackthorn. This one I haven't been able to play since I had a 486 computer back in the day. H.R. Geiger's Dark Seed 2 plays beautifully, man. Surprisingly good. And they show like they have Dark Seed 2, but I'll have to check back because he's gotten some of the downloads up and see if he's got one. But last I checked, doesn't have a download for it. He just talks about it like, yeah, you can get it for the Mac. And I figure it'd probably play good too. Descent 2. Got Duke Nukem 3D. I think this is the Atomic version, but it plays good on gameplay. Music, nil. On sound effects, the sound effects sound off, like not enough voices or processing or whatever. I don't know. It just sounds off, but it's playable. I have tried some emulators. Emulators kind of so-so. So far, the best one I found is called GeoMAME, which is just regular old MAME, like MAME 32 or whatever, but strictly for Neo Geo ROMs, arcade ROMs. Don't try and go to like a ROM site and download the ones for your home-based systems or whatever for Neo Geo. Got to be arcade and play some, but not all. I got enough of them on here. In fact, I'll open it up and list out what I've gotten to work on it. And so far, all the ones that work beautifully. The ones that don't work, it comes up saying ROMs not found. So you got Aggressors of Dark Combat, Magician Lord, Ninja Combat, Ninja Commando, Karnov's Revenge, Nightmare in the Dark, Zed-Blade, Shock Troopers, Second Squad, Alpha Mission 2, Art of Fighting 2, Burning Fight, Fatal Fury 3, Ghost Pilots, Kazuma Encounter, Last Resort, Mutation Nation, Samurai Showdown 2, Savage Rain. Sengoku can only get the first one to play. I forgot to delete the second one here, but the second one and third one, it will not load up. It seems like any of them that are a larger file, it won't load. Got to stick pretty much with the older ones or first of the series. And, Top Hunter, 8-Man, Galaxy Fight, Neo Geo version of Double Dragon. Let's see, those two didn't work. Captain, I think Tomade, really weird shooter where it's based on vegetables. You're like this little tomato dude, but cool. And Neo Geo version of Mr. Do, great game, and Prehistoric Island 2. So, I'm gonna open up Mr. Do to show you here. And really easy to use emulator, man. It's pretty much just all set. You just put your ROMs into the folder and pick out which one you want in the list here and play. Only thing on it, I can't get it to go full screen. If I do, it shows it all cropped and it starts getting pixelated. The screen size I have it at now looks beautiful, really sharp, which big enough you can tolerate it. Otherwise, just plays great, man. Real smooth. With this little booger. Let's see. Another old school one from early 90s. Got the original Heretic. And froze up once, but hasn't done it again. It was when I finished the first level. Then all of a sudden it just froze and I had to start over. But other than that, will not play any music for it, which is just MIDI based music anyways. Otherwise, plays really smooth. And kind of the same thing as MAME. It's a smaller screen. It does not go full screen for some reason. But cool enough, man. Marathon 1 and Marathon 2, a couple more decent first-person shooters. And another insanely funny game. Got Shadow Warrior, plays it beautifully. And no music. It may be the same thing to where it played it off the CD. I haven't tried it yet, but otherwise plays great. Sound effects are great. Emulators other than MAME, I got Super Nintendo, SNES, 9X. Haven't tried any ROMs on it yet, but it should be alright. And then one for Atari 2600, still a 1.2. That's pretty much it. So, open up Redneck Rampage here just to show you how smooth it plays on this thing. All my other computers, man, this is about as far as I could go. As soon as it went into the actual game, after the intro here, stopped dead in its tracks. Mainly because originally I believe this was a DOS game.
Yep, Satrix Entertainment. Up a can of whoop ass on Hush, puppy.
Say with this one, man, you want to hear all the sound effects and stuff, and pretty much if it moves, you can kill it.
You're no mess with Lo Wang.
Oh, and Shadow Warrior here, just like the PC version, if you buy it full, you also get the shareware, which is 4 levels, and then the full version's 18.
You are tiny grasshopper. Lo Wang, comfort you little snake coward. Row your boat into the sound of the stream. Oh, I get my dingy now.
As hell.
I
don't see any slowdown whatsoever. It's like, yeah, these are older games, but you gotta remember the computer's year 2000, so that's pretty much what you had. Same old thing, no matter what kind of computer you get, man, it's always gonna be out of freaking date when it comes to games. Unless you're rich and can get the top of the line. Just really impressed. like the speed on this thing, man. You click quit and it just boom, back to the main thing here. It's really, really quick. Anyways, man, the site does have some downloads for browsers, but say not too many people that are on dial-up anymore, and that would be the thing to have for this. It probably does great on dial-up, but man, trying to hook up my cable modem here, just I had success, but just way too fast. It wasn't just the browser that was outdated. It's like I'd start downloading something from this particular site for Macintosh Garden, and it would act like it was starting up alright and start downloading, and then it'd get to a point where it just stopped dead once it started picking up speed. I don't even know what I'm up to, man. They keep changing it. I'm going to say 10 gigabyte per second max, but it may be faster than that by now, because my company, I used to be on Cheetah for my internet, and they got taken over by Suddenlink, and then they upgraded everything. So, I'll tell you where I got this, and I'm really hoping that this thrift store is going to stay open, because it's just a little one, but he's got video game stuff. Not a ton of video game stuff, just the fact that he's got video game stuff is cool. Yeah, like PS3, not the fat, but the one I got, next one down, and I think he was only wanting $75 for that. And then my buddy Jim came in and bought the Nintendos that he had, but he had a Super Nintendo and then a regular Nintendo. He still had some Nintendo games, some little portable systems, and just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and decent prices. This, it's like, if I was any place else other than Kingman, is just don't find Macintosh stuff around here. This is the first one of these I've ever seen in this town that I could get my hands on. He had 100 on it, which was way too much for what I'd want to spend, so had cash on me. I just said, hey, if I gave you 75 or whatever, would you take it? And he was cool with that. So got it for $75, and I haven't done any upgrading to it. It's pretty much just told him, well, before I buy this, just to make sure, because of the age, can I hook it up here? So he got it all hooked up for me. I messed around with it for a good 30 minutes at the store, and it seemed to be good. So all I had to do was delete all the crap this lady had on it. And so far, man, I haven't had any problems. It's only froze up a couple times, and that's because I've either put a game on it that requires too much or not enough to where it just freaks it out, which the way they did it on this, there's a little button off to the side, I think close to where you plug in the FireWire or whatever, and you press that and it just resets the computer. And because you're shutting it off after a crash, it'd come up saying like, checking everything to make sure it's okay, that nothing got screwed up, as in repairing itself instead of just starting up when it's screwed up like a regular old PC. So, I want to make this vid too long here. I will catch you guys later. And it's getting warm in here even with the damn fan going, so I don't know when I'm going to do another vid. I just got bored, man. I haven't been out in so friggin' long. We were getting it up to 113 degrees here in Kingman, which is just batshit crazy. That is not normal for our area, man. That's like Bullhead City, Lake Havasu temperatures, and we're getting it here. So it's going to be a really hot summer. So, again, have fun, everybody. Catch you next time.